Stock Gurus, and welcome to another episode. My name is James, and today we're going to be looking at Apple. The ticker is AAPL on the New York Stock Exchange. We're looking at Apple today on the technicals for the next few months, for the next few trading days, and for today's trading day, January 6th, we're going to try and predict the movement of the Apple stock and what it's going to do in the future and how we can make money on the movement of Apple stock. The future targets are quite high for Apple, so make sure you check out those technical targets further along in the video. You're going to see the exact targets for Apple. We're also going to do the fundamental analysis on Apple, the revenues, the sales, the profit margins, how much money this company is making, and any major news that's come out for Apple. We're going to look into that. Then we're going to go into the financials of Apple. We're going to look at the income statement, the balance sheets, and try and predict the movement of the stock based off how much money it's making and the actual real world financials of Apple, which is beautiful. If you're not one of my now 23,000 subscribers, which is amazing, we're jumping up around 1,000 subscribers a day, which is very nice. My name is James. I'm a retired multimillionaire. I was an early investor in Tesla, Match Group, the company that owns Tinder, PayPal, and Uber. And now my passion is, for the last 10 years, has been being retired, living in awesome villas, and teaching students how to invest in the stock market the right, safe way, buying amazing companies for the long term. And I've made my students more than $300 million in the stock market. Big congratulations to all students that bought Bitcoin in July at $9,000 when I made that buy Bitcoin video at $9,000. Now $34,000. It hit $35,000 today, which is amazing. Unity is also up 300% in the last 3 months at the IPO at 52. Disney 70%, Match Group 100%, Twitter 100%. Wells Fargo up around 60%, many other stocks that we've just been doing absolutely amazing. 2020 was a golden year. In 2021, my goals are to get this channel to 1 million subscribers. So please share this video, hit the subscribe button, the bell, and the thumbs up button. Also to make one of my students 100 millionaire and just get hundreds of students to a millionaire status, which will be beautiful. Oh, don't forget also on Tuesdays and Saturday nights, I have a mountain in my house. We have Tuesdays and Saturday nights in the Eagle's Nest, 8 p.m. New York time. We had one last night. It was amazing. Make sure you jump on that and come visit, and you get to talk to me directly. I talk to thousands of students, and we have thousands of questions, and it's back and forward. It's not just one way like in this video. Tuesdays and Saturday nights in the Eagle's Nest. Everything you're going to see in this video, how to do all this, how to master it and make millions in the stock market and learn how to invest safely the right way, you learn in the Stock Guru Master Course, www.stockguru.us. Take the course. It will change your life. It's done so for thousands of students. Anyone, and you can see some reviews from the students here, anyone that purchases the course before the 1st of February goes in the chance to win 5,000 USD tuition. So make sure you jump on that. 1st of February, I announced the winner of 5,000 USD, which will be beautiful. So let's jump into the technical analysis for Apple now. So now I'm jumping to the technical analysis for Apple. So I'm using tradingview.com to get this watch list. This is the watch list of the stocks that the stock gurus have been following, which has been beautiful. I'll sort it here by the percent gainers yesterday. So just seeing how much Fiverr was up a lot yesterday, 8%, which is beautiful. Airbnb is one of my favorites. Also yesterday I put a buy order for Airbnb and it popped 5%, which is beautiful, but I was just dollar cost averaging into Airbnb because I want to own this company for the long term. The potential, I see 20 times potential for Airbnb. They're going to completely dominate the hotel industry. And I believe a lot of rentals, people are going to just do most of their rentals through Airbnb soon. You just rent your house, instead of leasing it directly with the owner, they're going to put it on Airbnb. And this is happening around the world. And you can just rent houses for 1 month, few months, long-term rentals even. So it's like hotels and rentals combined. So I see a huge potential market for this. Uber is really my favorite for 2021. I made a video about this a few months ago on Uber, 4,000% potential for Uber, and it is my favorite for 2021. We're up 100% on Uber since that video, which is beautiful. Yesterday I was buying Uber also. We're up 5.6%, but I see massive potential for Uber. Again, it can times 10, 20. These are two of my amazing favorites for 2021 in the next decade. Boeing also a great buy yesterday, 0.4%, and Boeing also looks set up for in the live today. If you're part of the YouTube live, Tuesdays and Saturdays we have live in the Eagle's Nest with me, which is live chat with me and the students, which is amazing. There was 300, 400 people in it last night, which is beautiful. Tuesdays and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Make sure you join New York time. Unity is also a big favorite. Half of the world's games are created on Unity. Half of the world's games are created on Unity. It's the game engine, the environment that people can create their games in. So instead of developers have to create it from scratch by themselves, they can just piggyback and pay Unity and use their worlds for creating games, which is very powerful. Intel we're buying because the fundamentals are just stunning on Intel. Huge revenues, huge profit margins, large amounts of cash. Intel is a very good buy based off of that. CRISPR Therapeutics we've been looking at. It's the gene editing company. You can watch the Human Nature documentary. I recommend you check that out. We've been buying a lot of CRISPR. PayPal is a favorite of mine also, up from the $30, now $234. We were originally buying at $30 PayPal about in 2013. Even if a few months ago when you watched the video around $150 for PayPal, we're up massive, and I see huge potential also for PayPal. I made a video about this the other day because PayPal is linked currently with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is just skyrocketing. Big congratulations to all stock gurus who bought Bitcoin. When I made that video in July at $9,000 for Bitcoin, we hit $35,000 today, and it came back down to around 33,874. But huge gains from 9,000. We're already more than 300%, which is beautiful. Bitcoin is still, my targets for Bitcoin in the long term are $1 million of Bitcoin, but dollar cost average into Bitcoin now, because of the huge movements up already, you need to dollar cost average, DCA. Ether also up a lot, and I think the targets in the midterm for Ether are around 1,500. But Ether can really move big after Bitcoin does. So we've already had some big movements on Ether, but I see a lot of potential for Ether. And these are the companies. NEO, we're going to keep tracking. I made a video on NEO yesterday. We're going to track it going into NEO Day on the 9th of January. Twitter is another favorite for 2020 in the next decade. I really like Twitter. It's already up 100% since we started buying it, which is beautiful. And then OTGLY is the company that made CD Projekt, Project. It's a Polish company. They're the ones that created the Witcher game series and the Witcher TV series on Netflix. Just an amazing company. They had a big dip at 30% because one of their games had a lot of bugs. So then I took that as a buying opportunity to start buying this company. But today on this video, we're looking at Aapl. So we're going to track Aapl as we've been doing for quite a few months. We've been tracking Aapl for a very long time. So if you're looking at these charts, and they're quite very beautiful charts. Look at this. I think we have the best charts in the entire technical or just trading stock world. Look at these charts. CNBC it's just beautiful. They're like an artwork. If you're looking at these charts and you're panicking, and when you stop, take a deep breath and just relax into this. And it's going to be very easy. I've taught thousands of students around the world how to do this, and you're going to learn how to do it right now as well. We're looking at Aapl Inc. It's the company. You're looking at the price movement of Aapl over time. So this is price movement. We're using a few different indicators here, beautiful looking indicators, but very functional as well. We're using RSI and stochastic indicators. We're using squeeze mob indicator, volume indicator, support lines, resistance lines, and these brute trend lines. Now I'm going to break it down. So everything you're seeing here, these charts, how to set it up like this, you learn in the Stock Guru Master Course at www.stockguru.us. Anyone that purchases the course before the 1st of February goes in the chance. On the 1st of February, I'm going to announce a winner. One of my students is going to get 5,000 USD tuition. I'm going to give 5,000 USD to one of the people that purchased the course, www.stockguru.us, before the 1st of February. So make sure you jump on that. So now we're going to try and predict the price movement of Aapl in the future using technical analysis. So the way we do it, I'm using specific indicators that I've kind of found to be the best way to do it, and this is what I teach in the master course. So RSI and stochastic, when they're below the dotted lines, this company is too cheap. It's undervalued. Above the dotted lines, it means this company is too expensive. Squeeze mob, when it's going red, it's going red. When it's climbing and going green, it means it's climbing more and going green. So right now, the stochastic was starting to head down out of the overbought, but now it's turning and heading back up. The RSI was also starting to head down, but now it's going to turn and head up. We have very green on the squeeze indicator, and it's rising even more rapidly. We have huge amounts of volume right now. Volume predicts price. Always remember this, volume predicts price, and we have a massive amount of volume on Aapl. It was highest, I would say, back in 2009 during the GFC. Great, massive buying and volume. So what is volume? Volume is the buying and selling of shares. So if you were to sell me your Aapl shares and I was to buy them from you, that would be considered trade. That would be added to the volume here, the trading of stocks between people. So volume is the trading that's happening between people. So when you have massive amount of volume, usually this means there's a lot of trading, there's a lot of interest in this company. It means future potential price increases for that company. When the volume drops, you have less volume, and now the volume on Aapl is starting to rise again. And as you can see here, I really believe we're in the beginnings of one massive move up in the stock market, something people are really not expecting. I believe we're going to have huge movements up in the stock market just because they printed in the last, since 2008, there was $1 trillion US supply in 2008. Now in 2020, because of 21, because of all the money that was printed, $3 trillion in 2020 because of COVID, there is now 7.5 trillion USD in circulation, 7.5 times what there was in money supply in 2008. There's 7.5 times more money than there was in 2008. And by 2022, they say they're going to print another 2 trillion. So 9 trillion compared to $1 trillion that was in 2008. So 9 times the money in existence. So I believe the stock market really is going to have massive movements soon. And it's already been seen by that. That's why like the stock market has been moving so crazy. A lot of my students making huge amounts of money, which is beautiful. My goals for 2021 is to get Ahmed, one of my students, to 100 million USD. We have quite a few students that were in the live today that we're going to get to 1 million USD. Quite a lot of million. We've made more than $300 million for my students, which is beautiful. So the stochastic turning, heading up, RSI turning to slightly head down, but still in a way climbing. It's making higher lows here. So stochastic climbing to head up, higher lows here, but with them both in the overbought, you want to DCA, 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 split your capital up and invest it over time into the company. Do not put all your capital into Apple in one go when it's very high on the RSI and the stochastic. This is the targets we drew for Apple here with this ascending triangle. I'm going to zoom in now. So we're on the monthly charts. Now I click down here and now we're on the daily candles. So each of these candles before were 1 month. Now each of these candles is 1 day. So we zoomed in very close to the Apple stock. We looked at the charts even closer now. So here you can see what's happening to Apple. This is the ascending wedge we're tracking. Before, the overall trend of Apple massively trending up. On this time frame, also on the yearly time frame, also massively trending up. The trend is your friend. Always remember this. And it looks like Apple will be falling down for the next few trading days or even weeks. The squeeze mob is starting to go red. We've got the stochastic turning and heading down. We had the RSI falling but turning to head up. We have quite a good amount of volume, more in September, but huge volume still in 2021. We have Apple coming down to this trend, this current trend line. So it was in this channel here, climbing here, and then it's like holding on this trend line, and it looks like it was trying to break down. The target though is the break up of this triangle. So this is a symmetrical triangle. And the way it works is usually when it breaks out to either direction, it breaks out to the base of the triangle. So this is the target that we have for Apple. And it is quite high. The target for Apple is sitting at 158. We drew this target back here, actually. We drew it at the $112 mark. So we've already made quite a bit of the gains here, but there is still more distance to get to this target at 160. And it is still in play. However, the stochastic is turning down. So we could have some movements down. However, it looks like it's about to turn to head back up. RSI turning to head up. Squeeze mob is still green and we've got a lot of volume. So it does look like it's going to hold its bounce on this trend line and then keep moving higher. Let's zoom in a bit more. So it looks like Apple is going to be holding here at the $128 mark, bouncing off and going to keep turning higher. So I think the stochastic is going to turn head up, RSI turning head up. We have a good amount of volume. It's going to bounce at this 128 and start climbing to its new all-time high. First resistance on Apple is this big orange resistance line at the $134.88 mark, and the second resistance is at the $137.58. So first target for Apple for the next few trading weeks, I believe this is what's going to happen. Stochastic is going to turn, head up. RSI is turning to head up. Huge amounts of volume. It's going to bounce here. First target climbing to the 130. What is that? The big orange line. It was 130. First target 135 here. So it's going to climb up, hit that, and then second target 137, and then that should put the stochastic RSI up and the volume up and continuation up. So first target 134 in the midterm, and the second target 139 for Apple. The end goal though, over the next few months, is to try and hit this upper end of this target of 160 for Apple, and it does look like it is playing out. We're going to keep tracking, but it is following this pattern, which is beautiful. So now let's zoom in on Apple. We're going to find out now what's going to happen for today's trading day, the 6th of January. So before we were predicting what's going to happen for the next few weeks. Now we're going to look at what's going to happen for today. So now the 6th of January. So straight away we can see, now you know how this works. Stochastic is turning to head up, heading up strong. RSI turning, heading up. And we have a large amount of volume on Apple. And remember, volume predicts price. We have the squeeze mob indicator going red, turning to green. Cho just brought me beautiful, it looks like alcohol, but it's coconut. Cho is the best chef ever. So the squeeze mob is turning green. Stochastic is climbing strongly. RSI is climbing. Large amount of volume. We bounced off this trend line here. And now we're currently sitting. What do I see here? It is following strongly this trend line. So we got to move. We got to draw this trend line out further because it's very strongly following this trend line. This seems to be the dominant trend line that Apple's on actually. See this? Here, it bounced on the trend line, went up, came back, bounced on it, came down, bounced on it, climbed higher, climbed on it, came down, bounced on it. So it's really following this trend line. And until this trend line breaks, it's our main trend line that we're going to keep following. So it looks like we're going up from here. Stochastic heading up, RSI heading up, good amount of volume. So first target is the previous resistances. So first target for Apple is 132.69 for today's trading day. 132. And then second target is 135 for Apple. And that's what looks like will happen today. Target first 132, second target 135 for Apple. It could break higher and it could already try and take out its all-time highs at the 139. But I don't believe it will because the stochastic and the RSI are already nearly pretty high. We could see if this volume picks up massively, then it is very possible. It does look like it's going to keep climbing though. So by the 21st of January 2021, I like those numbers, it should be 135 for Apple. So it's going to play out over the next few trading days. But for today's trading day, the 6th of January, first target for Apple, I think it'll be even higher by then. I think it's going to actually bounce off, because see how it's bouncing off this trend line and then breaking higher? So for example, it bounced on the trend line here, but it broke way higher above the trend line. So it's same here, it's going to bounce and then go way high. I think it's going to hit the 160, then come back down to the trend line. That is very possible, but again, we don't need to go so far. I make daily videos or every 2 days videos on Apple, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, the bell, and the thumbs up button so you're notified of these videos. But it looks like Apple today heading up, RSI heading up, good amount of volume. Apple first target is 132, second target is 135 for the 6th of January, and that should put the stochastic and the RSI pretty high. And then we have to see what happens next for Apple, which is beautiful. So if you've been losing money in the stock market or you don't know the exact prices to buy stocks, like right here is a perfect indicator because you now know all the conditions I'm going to show you. Or if you want to have millions of dollars so you can buy opulent villas like this and just live in luxury and be able to afford anything you want in life and have staff that bring you coconut juice while you're recording videos, make sure you take my Stockguru Master Course, www.stockguru.us. It is currently $333 for the course, but it's the best investment. No stock that you buy, no education that you buy will ever compare to this knowledge that you can learn that will forever change your life. You'll know where to put money and how to invest money for the rest of your life after taking this course. Sure, you might say you're only starting with $1,000. You'll know where to put that $1,000. But say in 1 year or 2 years from now, you sell your car for $20,000, you'll know after taking the Stockguru Master Course exactly where to invest that $20,000. 4 years from now, you sell your house, you have $300,000, you'll know exactly how to divide it up, how to invest it safely, securely. Rule number 1 by Warren Buffett is don't lose money. Rule number 2 by Warren Buffett is don't forget rule number 1. And our goal is to compound and massively grow your wealth while protecting it at all costs. So you learn all that in the Stockguru Master Course, www.stockguru.us. Anyone that purchases before the 1st of February goes in the chance one of my students is getting a $5,000 USD tuition. And I love giving out money. On Christmas, I gave out $1,000 to one of the students that purchased the course. On New Year, gave out $1,000. And now on the 1st of February, I'm going to give $5,000 USD tuition to anyone that purchases the course, www.stockguru.us, before now and the 1st of February, which is beautiful. So I'll show you another perfect example of technical analysis working. And a lot of my students actually caught this trade. So here, stochastic in the oversold turning and heading up, RSI in the oversold turning and heading up, Apple on this major trend line, and now you know that these are all the conditions of a buy, huge amounts of volume, all conditions of a buy. But what it's also amazing is all the Wall Street bankers know that these are the conditions to buy. All the 401k fund managers, all my students, they all know these are the conditions to buy. So what's amazing about technical analysis, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. They see the conditions being met. Stochastic oversold turning heading up. RSI oversold turning heading up. Large amounts of volume. Apple on this trend line. They see all these conditions being met. So the price comes down for Apple. They all set their buy orders there. And because they set their buy orders there, it self-fulfills. Their buy orders trigger and the price of Apple shoots up. And you catch this movement, even just in the last few days, you catch a movement from $126.77, the low, to $130.19, which is around 2%, which is quite small percentage. 10% would be $12, so it's around 4% movement. However, that's just one indicator of a perfect buying opportunity. But here's another one where you could catch much larger movements. For example, here, stochastic, you know the conditions now. RSI being met, turning, heading up. RSI in the oversold, turning and heading up. Huge amounts of volume, bigger than normal. Apple on this blue trend line, all conditions for a buy. So everyone sets their buy orders here. You know because you took the Stockguru Master Course at www.stockguru.us. The price of Apple comes down to this $112 mark. People set their buy orders, it triggers, and they catch a buy from $112 to $139. So that movement is around 10%, and you would have known to buy that, and that's over just around a 3-week period from there to there. And that's the power of technical analysis. That's why you must learn it. Again, www.stockguru.us. And again, today's trading day, Apple is going up, which is beautiful. So let's go now into the fundamental analysis of Apple. So now we're doing the fundamental analysis, thank you, of Apple. Apple stock, we're in google.com typing this. Apple Inc. is the company. The NASDAQ ticker is AAPL, Apple. So we're looking at so in the beginning, the technical analysis, the RSI, the stochastic, the volume, the movement of the price of the stock, and using technical analysis, self-fulfilling prophecy, to predict the future movement of the stock. The second way, and that's what most teachers teach. That's, for example, Timothy Sky's course teaches technical analysis. Most teachers only teach technical analysis. Timothy Sky's is dangerous with penny stocks. Be wary of this. Fundamental analysis is also what I teach. And this is why my students make so much money in the stock market, more than 300 million. It's actually a lot higher now. I need to recalculate because we use technical analysis and fundamental analysis. What is fundamental analysis? The real world news, the real world revenues, the profits, the sales, the income statements, the balance sheets, the real world financials of company. And if you merge technical analysis and fundamental analysis together, which I do in the Stockguru Mastercourse, www.stockguru.us, you're using two main ways of valuing companies combined. It's very powerful. You can really predict the movements of stocks. So now we're doing the fundamental analysis. The price, $131 for Apple. First thing I look at, what's the overall trend of this company? The overall trend since 1981, when Apple was at 14 cents, now it's more than 1,000 times that. So $1,000 here is $1 million here. $10,000 here is $10 million here since 1981. So amazing gains. The overall trend of Apple is massively trending up. And don't forget, the trend is your friend. And Apple is massively trending up. The trend is your friend. Next, we go into the 5-year time frame. What's the overall trend of Apple? Massively trending up. The trend again is your friend. Never go against the trend. It's your friend. 1-year time frame. The overall trend of Apple, massively trending up. 6-month time frame. Trend of Apple, massively trending up. 1-month time frame, you get the picture on every single time frame, and this is exactly what you're looking for. You want every time frame to match. The trend is your friend, and on every single time frame, you want Apple, you want to be going with the trend. You want to invest your money in the direction of the movement. The overall trend of Apple, massively trending up. The market cap of Apple is $2.3 trillion, $2.23 trillion. Quite a big company. However, even with this huge valuation, 2.23 trillion, the P ratio is only 40 times, which is really amazing. Now, market cap, what is that first? 2.23 trillion, the total value of the company. The way you get that, it's the price times the number of shares outstanding, which you can Google, shares outstanding Apple equals the market cap, 2.23 trillion. The PE ratio is the price divided by the earnings per share. The golden ratio, that's the ratio. 20 is the golden ratio that Warren Buffett teaches. He teaches a 20 PE ratio. Why that's really amazing, it means you're paying 20 times price to earnings per share. So the ratio is you're paying a premium of 20 times. The price is 20 times higher than the earnings per share. 40 times means we're double Warren Buffett's golden ratio. So you need to be a bit careful. The higher the PE ratio above 20, which 20 is good. You're paying a premium because people love this company. They see massive potential in the future. The higher the PE ratio, the more you need to be careful. In DCA, the higher the PE ratio, you have to split up your dollar cost averaging more over time. And you need to dollar cost average over time, splitting up your investment in a longer period. To put this into perspective, Tesla is 1,400 times PE ratio. So for Tesla, I really recommend a very long DCA, splitting up your capital over a 1 to 2 year time frame, even 24 months, and buying dollar cost averaging each month to average out your price, just because the PE ratio is so high. With $2.2 trillion valuation, the PE ratio of 40 is really amazing for Apple because it's massive valuation, $2.2 trillion, the biggest company in the world, yet its PE ratio is only 40 times. So that means they're making a lot of revenues and sales to justify this massive price, which is amazing. Now we're going to the news. We're going to look at any major news for Apple. Google iOS, it's 35%. Google iOS app update, not updated in weeks. Are Apple privacy labels? Why? Apple supplier Mortara expects 500 million 5G phones in new year. Amazing. 500 million 5G iPhones sold in the new year. Crazy. Apple's annual proxy statement confirms antitrust risks for the first time. Wall Street raises Apple targets ahead of earnings. I agree, the target is 160 for Apple in the midterm. Apple CEO Tim Cook's pay jumped in 220 as remote work lifted profits. Beautiful. Apple confirms announcement of fiscal Q1 2020 results on January 27th. So this will be a big, they're going to, I think, report record numbers because they're expecting 30% more iPhones sold in 2021. So I think we're going to have some huge numbers. 2 former Apple insiders are building a laser technology startup to fuel the electric car boom. So LiDAR technology. LiDAR is amazing. We bought MVIS on the potential of LiDAR tech. And it went from $2.50 when we were buying MVIS to now went up to $10. Now it's sitting around $5. But that was on the speculation that Apple might be one of the buyers of the MVIS LiDAR technology. Apple will modify executive bonuses based on environmental values in 2021. A lot of companies are becoming ESG friendly. You'll learn about environmental, social, and governance investing in the Stock Guru Master Course as well, www.stockguru.us. There's an entire class about the ESG funds and what that means, environmental, social, and governance, ways to buy companies that are doing good for society, doing good for the environment, doing good for employees. Why Apple became a 2 trillion company in 2020 and what could come next? 3 trillion. Stock market news updates. NASDAQ stock futures drift ahead of Georgia Senate runoff results. NASDAQ futures tumbles and investors brace for possible blue wave. New York Stock Exchange has a U-turn on Chinese companies. We reported this news yesterday. It's very good news. It's stopping a Chinese stock and America stock war, which is thankful that we did that. They stopped that. They probably watched my video and realized there was a big mistake when I said it, because I'm just being joking there. It's because if they did have this delisting of Chinese companies, it could have really created a really big trade war. The media would have ate it up and it would have caused a lot of fear in the market. So I'm glad they stopped that, kicking out the Chinese companies. We didn't want them to do that. New York Stock Exchange takes heat after flip-flop on Chinese companies. Coronavirus surge will spark reckoning on Wall Street this month. National Securities Art Hogan warns. I believe we're going to have huge asset inflation because of the amount of money being printed. I made a video, make sure you check it out on the channel, about the stock market, my expectations a few days ago about the stock market. It's about to have some massive movements up. So check out that. So now that was the major news for Apple. Now we're going to go into Twitter, and I'm going to show you why Twitter is an amazing way to track your stocks also. Okay, so now we're jumping into my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, Stock Guru. Just put that in the search and then you'll see me come up. Twitter is an amazing tool to track a lot of your companies, so make sure you check it out. I'm up from 500 followers just 2 weeks ago to now 2,500 followers, which is awesome. Twitter is an amazing way to track a lot of stocks. So this is a pinned tweet I put, student reviews of the Stock Guru Master Course, which you check out at www.stockguru.us. You can click on that and that takes you to the course. I'll show you that a bit later. So this is Nicole, just reviews of the student master course, the Stock Guru Master Course. So Nicole was down 90,000, took my course up 90,000. Now she's made $700,000 in profits, which is beautiful. And you can just see hundreds and hundreds of reviews from students. Some of them losing their jobs because of COVID, finding a new way to make money. Other students paying off mortgages, paying off medical bills. Just really beautiful, amazing stories. I highly recommend you read through these stories. Very beautiful, inspiring stories. People that are sick, that paid medical bills, sending kids to university, paying off student debts, just hundreds and hundreds of comments. Some of them buying $2 million houses, Ferraris, paying off mortgages. Bitcoin just hit 5 hours ago a new all-time high, $35,000 per Bitcoin. It dropped a bit as we made this video, but still amazing. We had a live in the Eagle's Nest 9 hours ago. Saturday and Tuesday night lives in the Eagle's Nest. It was amazing, talking to hundreds of students, which was beautiful. Tesla stock continues to rise after hours, now up 2.26% to $751, which is beautiful. On target, we hit that target of 720 that I had, and now it's on target to go to that 840 target. UBS today set its price targets for Boeing at $300 with a buy rating. I really like Boeing for the long term. And this is just news that I've been sharing. Make sure you follow me and check out the news. And this is Neo Day on Saturday. We're going to track that. But what you can also do is you can go to the search. You can type Stock Guru to find me. Stock Guru. And then this will come up and you can find me and you can follow me. But what you can also do is you can type Apple. Better we type the ticker, AAPL, but you can type the name Apple, the company, or the ticker, and you can type any company. And what it does, you type the company name and it sorts the news by top. So you're tracking the top news and information that's coming out about this company. And remember, you can follow the CEOs. You can follow Tim Cook. You can follow Elon Musk. You can follow the CEOs. So you get the news even before the news agencies do, which is very powerful on Twitter. So now we're looking for any major news for Apple. Apple is up 82% in 2020, which is amazing. A lot of my students got massive gains, making hundreds of millions, my students, on Tesla. Apple, we had huge gains. Bitcoin, we also had massive gains, also 300%. Most of the students bought it in July when I said buy Bitcoin at $9,000, which is beautiful. This is my stock ETF list for 2021. He has a lot of companies, a lot of similar ones, but he has too many. I teach you want 10 companies maximum, 5 in the industry you believe in, tech, and 5 in diversified industries. When you split it up like this, it just becomes too big of an ETF that your returns are kind of capped because you're dividing your equity over so many different stocks that not all of them are going to you'd rather 10 amazing hits than 20 amazing hits, for example. So big tech returns in 2008 recession. So we're trying to find any major news for Apple that's going to affect the stock in the future. And doesn't really seem to be any. Remember when Apple did a 4-to-1 stock split and Tesla did a 5-to-1 stock split? Apple closed today at 133, which would be 534 if the stock split never happened. Tesla 3,473 if the stock split never happened. Big congratulations to everyone that caught it. Our most active stocks in pre-market: Apple, Tesla, American Airlines. I really like American Airlines. I covered that in the live today. I'll probably make a video on American Airlines. Apple cup and handle forming on Apple. Looking for 130 break entry for confirmation. Beautiful. So no major news for Apple. We can also type in AA, like Apple, the name of the company. Now we can also see here if we have any major information. So now we're looking at Apple news. Apple patents patents point to using a MacBook to wirelessly charge your iPhone, your Apple Watch. Awesome. So you just put it on your MacBook and it's charging your devices. Very nice. I'll share that. That's pretty cool information. They're putting up a patent for this. Apple, name an artist you want music this year. Apple of an eye. So we're trying to find any major news for Apple that will affect the price of the stock. Doesn't seem like there's any major news for Apple. Marks the 10th anniversary of the Mac App Store. Got audio walking workouts coming to Apple Watch. Beautiful. So the major news is that they're going to do their earnings announcement at the end of January. So we're going to monitor that. Pretty much that's the major news for Apple, this new patent. So no other major news. So now let's go into the fundamental analysis of Apple. I'm going to show you the revenues of this company in my broker, Charles Schwab. We're in my broker, Charles Schwab. I highly recommend Charles Schwab as a broker if you're in America. It's free for you in America. You can put whatever minimum you want. If you're outside of America, if you're not American, you do need $25,000 minimum for Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab is a publicly traded company, so an amazing broker to use. I highly recommend them. If you're European, I recommend interactive brokers. I cover the best brokers for you in your country in the Stockguru Mastercourse, www.stockguru.us. So we're in my broker. Apple Inc. is the company. The ticker is AAPL. The last price of Apple, $131. The bid price are what people are willing to pay for the Apple stock, so $128.48. The ask price is what people are willing to sell their Apple stock, $128.59. A rating by Charles Schwab Equity, which is beautiful, means Apple has a lot more assets to liabilities. $22 was the low in 2016, the high $138. It's close to its high, currently sitting at $131. The overall trend of Apple, massively trending up. And remember, the trend is your friend. And the overall trend of Apple is massively trending up. The trend is your friend. The average volume is 118 million shares traded per day for Apple. So huge volume right now of all time. It's one of the biggest volumes of all time. Now, volume predicts price. We had massive volume back here in 2016. Volume dropped off. In 2020, huge amounts of volume again. Volume predicting price. Earnings per share, $3.26 per share. 39 times PE ratio. Quite high, so you need to DCA. Forward PE ratio is only 29 times though. So Apple next year, these future quarters are expecting to make huge gains to only give it a 29 times PE ratio, which is much better. Annual dividend, 0.63% you're gaining for holding Apple stock. 2.2 trillion market cap. 58% shares held by institution. Shares outstanding, 17 billion shares, times the price, 131, equals the market cap of $2.2 trillion market cap. So we're looking for any major news here. Nasdaq futures sink 2% as investors brace for possible blue wave. Apple supplier Mortar expects 500 million 5G phones in the new year. So that's massive sales that they're expecting. Samsung Q4 profit likely up 33% on chip display panel sales. Amazing. So that's the main news. Nothing major for Apple right now. We have an A rating, Charles Equity rating by Charles Schwab. Credit research is a neutral. Ned Davis is a neutral. Argus 12-month, which I'm usually aligned with, is a buy. CFRA is a 4-star. Reuters research outperform and market edge is long. So most of the analysts are saying buy, A rating, or long, and two are saying hold. I'm saying also long for Apple, which is beautiful. Now we're going to go here, and I'm going to show you the statements, the financial statements of the company. This is going to be the income statements. We're going to look at the revenues. Now, in the Stockguru Mastercourse, www.stockguru.us, you learn how to read these financial statements, the income statements, the balance sheets, the cash flow statements. You learn how to read them in depth, really learn to master how to read them, but in a way that's you fully understand in a simplified way. So the total revenues, total sales of Apple, 215 billion in 2016. Then they sold 274 billion in 2020. So this company is still growing. Huge revenues, year-on-year revenue growth, and that's what we're looking for. The main things we're looking for in a fundamental analysis. Massive revenues, huge revenue growth year-on-year, huge profit margins, large amounts of cash. So we're ticking this. Huge revenues, huge revenue growth. It's converting that revenues, $274 billion in sales. It's converting it to 57 billion in profits, $57 billion in profits in 1 year. So 270 billion in sales and 56 billion in profits. We're sitting around 25% profit margins, even more, around 25% profit margins, which is beautiful. So huge revenues tick, huge revenue growth tick, huge profit margins tick. And now we can see how much cash Apple has, usually around 40 billion, but we go to the cash flow statements and we're going to see how much cash they have for future use. So Apple has cash for future use down here. End balance reserve for future use, 39 billion dollars, so around 40 billion, which is beautiful. So massive revenues. So let's go into a summary now of Apple. And again, everything you learned in the fundamental analysis, how to read these financial reports, you learn how to do everything at www.stockguru.us, 8-lesson course, lifetime access, $333. If you've been losing money in the stock market, buying stocks, not getting much gains, or you want to have millions of dollars so you can buy opulent villas like this, afford anything you want in life. What a beautiful sunset, almost. Learn it all in the Stock Guru Master Course. I also teach abundance mindsets when it comes to abundance mentality, how to live with $1 million, how to invest money in a safe, secure way to really compound your growth. So let's have a summary now of Apple. So in summary, I do rate Apple a buy. The technicals on all time frames, the long-term, mid-term, and for today's trading day, the 6th of January, are showing massive upward trends for Apple, ticking the boxes for a buy. The technicals are beautifully showing a buy for Apple. In the fundamental side of Apple, the revenues are massive. So it's ticking all the boxes. Huge revenues, huge revenue growth, huge profit margins, massive amounts of cash. Tick, 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 tick. Apple is a buy. Fundamental technicals, Apple is a buy. For the long term, amazing with the amount of inflation, money being printed, amazing with the revenues being so high, amazing with the potential phones they're going to sell. Amazing. Apple is an amazing company for the long term. The midterm target is 160 for Apple, which is beautiful. So I hope you like this technical and fundamental analysis on Apple. A big congratulations to all the Stock Guru students. We did amazing in 2020, and 2021 is going to be even far more superior. Everything you learn in this video, the technicals, the fundamentals, you learn how to do in the Stock Guru Master Course, www.stockguru.us. Currently $333. Jump on that. Anyone that purchases before the 1st of February, chance to win 5,000 USD tuition to put in your portfolio to grow it. You'll know where to invest it, which is beautiful after taking the course. Thousands of stock gurus have taken the course, and that's why this channel is so powerful. Most of my students are already mastering the stock market from this course. And if you want to see my live trades, you can see the YouTube join button there, the YouTube membership section. Every time I buy a stock in my portfolio, I sell a stock, I put it in the YouTube membership section. I put the buy order, the limit price, the targets for my trade, the reasons for my trade, my stop loss, and why I'm making this trade. You see my live trades as I make them in my portfolio in the YouTube membership section, which goes perfectly well with the Stock Guru Master Course student. So as you're learning, you can also follow along with my live trades. It's $99 a month for my live trades. My students have made millions from that, which is beautiful. So this is James from Stock Guru. Don't forget also to check out a video on PLTR also on the channel, and a video on Unity that will be released today, which is beautiful. And I hope you have an amazing trading day, lots of abundance and blessings in your life, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Okay.